content is for informational and educational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained here constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments whatsoever by Draper Gorin Blockchain, aka DGB, the presenter, or other associated parties for the content being provided. Please do your own due diligence and seek proper counsel.
Boom. Welcome. Good morning. You know what's funny is I was just thinking about the intro to this because I created that intro messing around with David Rankin when we still thought we might call the show something like Blockchain Breakfast or something in the morning because I want to schedule it first thing in the morning. But then that's why the people are getting out of bed and stuff. but we never did it, and then we kept that intro. Now we're 28 weeks in, and we still have that intro that has nothing to do with anything, and we still haven't totally even named this show. We're just calling it, which is funny. But Rankin will hopefully join us any minute. I was just texting him, but guys, welcome. This is super exciting. We got Dibyo and Adi from Turf with us. And we got some fun and exciting news today too. But first off, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Glad to be here, Alan.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, I'm stoked to have you guys here because of a few reasons. One, I've known you guys now for probably at least a couple years, right? Like it's been a while, well over a year, probably even more than 2. You never know, like with crypto years, things are crazy. But I'm super excited to have these guys here. One, because I've known them now for a couple years and kept in touch as they were building things, working on different ideas. And DGB, we haven't announced it yet. We're gonna, I guess, announce it today. Announcing it right now. Invested in Turf, and we're really super excited to support these 2 awesome founders. But also, they're building something really, really cool and in a fun and rad market. Everybody that watches this hears me talk about games and gaming and my opinions, and then I start going down this rabbit hole about Roblox and random stuff like that. You guys have heard it before, more than a few times, and I have some strong opinions on the future of gaming, or at least the Web3 gaming world. And you guys are building in it, right? So I'm super excited. Can one of you guys give everyone a background on what Turf is and what Turf is building right now? And then I'm going to ask for your guys' background and stuff like that, but just to start the conversation.
Definitely.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll start basically with how exactly this thing started and what Turf is right now, right? So basically, for a fact, I'll just tell the whole formalized eSports or competitive landscape of the gaming industry is very much fragmented as well as unorganized, right? And all the competitions that are hosted globally are kind of controlled by few centralized authorities, and that's the reason 99% of the games don't get the competitive excellence to be a part of, hey, I want to do an esport even at a global scale, and I can do it right away. It does not happen.
Yeah, so there's games that tons of people play, but compared to, I don't know, League of Legends or something, they're small, but they still have hundreds of thousands, millions of users, right? And there's no infrastructure for those smaller games, but still have hundreds of thousands or millions of users to have, legit competitions, community, smaller competitions, big global competitions, and even, dare I say, maybe decentralized competitions. I don't know if that really matters too much here because everybody's in their own communities, but competitions in general, right?
Exactly. Whenever it comes to different competitions that come into the play, right? There are, let's say, small games that, just like you mentioned, they don't have the ability to host competitions on at a global scale. Hey,
Yeah. Hey, Rankin has
Hi,
joined
David.
us.
Good morning.
Hold on, I'm gonna
Morning.
change this
Early
thing.
morning
So,
meeting. Sorry, guys.
oh, no worries. Look, I'm
I
a
really
cyborg.
love your background.
I'm a cyborg now.
Why you're
Sorry,
so-
stupid joke. I just look, the DGB thing was over my eyes. I thought it looked like
No.
Cyclops or something. Making
Happy
dumb
to have
jokes.
you guys on. Good morning and welcome.
Yeah.
good morning,
Likewise.
David.
Good morning, David.
Good morning.
Or good evening, I should say.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, for us it's night actually.
We just cut Dibyo off, but really quick, one of the things I love about this this live stream we do and our space in general is we get to hang with people around the world. Adi and Dibyo are on the other side of the world right now, so it's 8 a.m. for Rankin and I, but it's nighttime for them. Guys, why don't you, really quickly, because we went right into turf, but maybe for a minute, tell us where each of you is and your background a little bit too. Pre-turf
Sure.
background. Yeah.
So I'm Aditya and I take care of the technical implementation of Turf. An entire technical journey from end to end, I take care of it. So I'm the CTO of Turf and I'm from Bangalore, India. Over to you, Dibyo.
Yeah. So hi guys, this is Dibyo, and I'm the co-founder of Turf along with Aditya. And just a bit about my background. It's been more than 7+ years for me in the Web3 industry. Started off as a serial developer, now as a serial entrepreneur, building out multiple products in the DeFi space, and started my journey as a tech geek where I wanted to do everything blockchain. Now transitioning towards a space where I'm very much more use case specific, right? And building things that needs blockchain as much as needed, right? Not overpowering it in some way, but that's where
Not
we
forcing
started.
it.
Like, yeah, exactly. And that's where we came up with the idea of Turf and bringing where we have seen that, hey, in the gaming industry, there is a lot of fragmentation in the esports segment or the competitive culture as such. That's where we have seen like, hey, we need a layer of trust, right? Let's say there is a game who wants to host a competition in, let's say, India or in any of the Southeast Asian region, and the companies sitting in the West, right? How exactly there should be a collaboration of trust as well as they leverage the whole global market at the same time with the payments wherever there is esports, there are money involved, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we started picking out small nitty-gritties of where exactly blockchain is solving things. First is the trust as being a trust layer, and the next thing is the globalized payment system, and that's where formulation of stuff started. Right, we have not a very big background, but a fair share of background in the esports as well as the gaming industry, and we got hooked into it after seeing the problem and our experience around solving it. So here we are.
I love it. I think that techies in general, right? If you've been a techie long enough, you probably
Mhm.
in your early days, you were gaming a lot, right? And you probably it's really funny that you said where there's esports, there's money, right? There's money involved. But
Mhm.
if you would have talked to any of us probably 15 years ago, um, maybe us, I don't know, we're a unique group of weirdos, but if you ask most people 15 years ago esports, they would have been like, games are fun, but there's no like money in it. Maybe for the person making the
Mhm.
game, but like for somebody to just play a game and make money, that's nonsense. Like, but even 10 years ago, the idea of earning, maybe 10 years ago was starting, but 15 years ago, the idea of even just earning money on the internet, like as a creator, like as a YouTube personality or
Mhm.
something, didn't exist, right? So all
Mhm.
this market and this world came together, and the older you are as a techie, the more technical you had to be just to play games. But today
Yeah.
we're in this world where sitting on the couch, you could be playing casual games on your phone, and some of those casual games have millions and millions of users, and they have the ability or to have competitions and to have prizes and to have sponsors and things like that. And I think the world is opening up, kind of similarly
Mhm.
to how content creators can create products and things. Like we have our portfolio company Zoop that does the crowdfunding stuff, right? Like I can
Mhm.
be uh, an artist that creates graphic novels, and I might have 1 million followers, and maybe that wouldn't be enough for Marvel to do a blockbuster movie, but it could be enough for me to make a living off of my own comic book or my own thing.
Mhm.
As time goes, these smaller game studios can compete with some of the big ones, and a great community of players can have their own competition, have their own things, and it can spread globally and scale, right? So I think there's so many different ways to look at it and see how it could go.
Mhm.
Um, uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
GM. Yeah. So you know, one thing is you guys are on the other
Mhm.
side of the world, which is really fun. You're into um we were talking about gaming competitions, which is super fun and scaling that world. Um, why I know you touched on it a little bit with the trust and stuff, but
Mhm.
why blockchain, and what do you guys think is the I like what you said about
Oh,
not
it's the
forcing
future.
not forcing it and overdoing it, but why on chain? What'd you say, Rankin? Sorry.
I said it's the future, man. I mean, blockchain gaming is the future, right? The only problem is the US is way behind on allowing anything blockchain related because they're so afraid of any loss in control of the money system, right? Like they
Mhm.
don't want like things that these
Well, I
tokenized
think
video currencies that
yeah.
are in games, they don't want to leak out there. It's like a Diablo thing. When Diablo started allowing currencies to be traded, they stopped it and like, no, we can't allow this to happen. They don't want
Hey,
gaming assets to be sold and have real value. And so now
remember
we have to do
remember
it.
the first remember the earlier versions? I don't know if it's still a thing. It must
Mhm.
still be a thing, but that game Diablo, I remember taking my computer to my friend's house so we could both play at the same time. Then we were able to
Uh-huh.
go online. But I remember when you would fight and you would win, you'd cut off somebody's ear and you'd keep it as a souvenir. That game was crazy. Um, uh,
Yeah.
um,
There's a
but
history. There's a history
well,
of trying to trade in-game items for real assets that has kind of been taboo in the United States. And the nice thing is other countries seem to be okay with this or more lax, and so we've kind of put a whole taboo, I think, on the gaming industry and making
I
and
think
creating big hurdles in the United States
there's
where we're going to see
and
progress in
I'm
other countries.
I'm gonna
Mhm.
bring it back to turf in 1 second, but now I'm gonna you got me excited about something. But I talk about I mentioned this right before you came on, Rank, and how I go down the rabbit hole of Roblox, and I talk about it a lot and stuff. But you know, Roblox is I think I've said this before. It's bigger than the NFL, right? If you look
Mhm.
at how many people are playing a day actively, how much money is transacting a day,
Oh, it's huge.
and
Yes.
then it's more than regular season football in the United States, American football, and of course, in the playoffs and the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
maybe it gets bigger, but
Mhm.
that's for a few weeks, right? Then this is happening all year round, and their economy, their Robux that people buy gift cards for their kids, or they buy it online, then their kids get, spend $10, they get 800 Robux, and they do their whole thing. Kids are using that to buy
Mhm.
in-game products and things that they can't take from game to
Yeah.
game. And if you go to a kid and you just plant the seed with them, like any kid, it could be an 8-year-old, right? You go to them and you just go like, wouldn't it be cool if you could take your diamonds from Pet Simulator and like use it in another game. And if you say something like that to them, their eyes pop like mine are right now, and they will be like, it's so not fair, it's so messed up, I want to take my thing. And they'll start being like, I paid for this, and then the game didn't work anymore, or this happened, and then that, and I want to sell David my diamonds, and then I'll be able to go to strongest battlegrounds and buy a new weapon or whatever, right? And they get so excited by it. I've done this with all of my nieces and nephews and my kids, and it doesn't matter if they're 8 years old or they're 15 years old. They all feel the same way. They all feel
they all want freedom to transact, right?
Right. So that's not exactly what Turf is doing here, right? But that's where the future of gaming is going. So
Turf takes me back to I was working at a company, right? And League of Legends is a popular game in the United States. And it was full-grown adults watching gaming competitions, replays of League of Legends, right? And you realize how big gaming is going to be in the future. And the fact that you can be the ones to host those competitions, especially in the Web3 area where it's going to be growing, whether people realize it or not, it's going to happen, right? We all want the freedom to transact and to monetize the games that we play. And so Turf is going to be a huge part of that, and which I'm excited about.
And it's fun, right? It's like, it's just like sports growing up, right? Like once you're into something, you really want to have fun and play with your friends and, go play soccer or basketball at the park. And then you join a league, you do this. But like with games, it's so much easier. You could be in multiple competitions at once. You could do things. And it's not necessarily just the competition, like, ooh, I can make some money or I can compete and be famous or whatever. It literally is just a part of playing games, right? Like some games have it inside where you can play some things. Like I like to play with my son plays Brawl Stars, right? And you play against random people or whatever. But how cool would it be if I knew that my son and I as a team could join some tournament, and one weekend we play a bunch of games and we could see how we actually rank, right? That would be like a fun experience, even if you're not a pro. But the thing is, every single city, like big city in the United States at least, has, for example, I'm trying to remember the game, the Nintendo game where you like the big party kind of game with a bunch of players fighting each other. Smash Bros. So every single smaller town, there are in high school gyms across the United States, there are Smash Bros competitions, and some of them are with 100 random people. Some of them have thousands of people, but they're all organized independently. They're not like organized by Nintendo or whatever. And all of these do them differently. They're all, it's like if us four were like, hey, in a month, let's do a Smash Bros tournament. How do we do it? I don't know. Let's go rent a gym. Let's tell everyone we know and post about it online. And some people will travel in, but most people just drive a couple hours and they'll play Smash Bros with us. And there might be a winner, right?
Exactly.
This happens across the United States, and that's one game, right? So going back to my question, before we diverted, why? Thank you for joining us, Milton. Why blockchain in this realm in the game competitions? See, here we go. Milton just said it. We're having a Smash Bros tournament in Vegas at 4E, right? That's a little bigger. It's like a nerdy, convention. It's a convention, but that's happening, all the time.
Exactly. Like competition as a culture, I would say, is evolving, and it had made games biggest, taken the game in the next level, right? Let's say CS:GO is there, just like you mentioned, League of Legends and Dota 2. These games have grown to the next level just because these third-party people are actually curating tournaments or curating competitions for these particular games, right? So, having the ability to make sure that any other person can host a tournament for you, that's the real power, right? It's
Mhm.
not just centralized parties. Let's say there are ESL Gaming, and there are multiple companies, right, who are having the global exposure and can host competitions, right? They are, if you are a new game, you can literally go to them, let's say pay $100,000 and get your competition up and running. But that will not be actually used towards your growth, right? Until and unless new people, new esports orgs, or small communities are hosting competitions for you, you don't see that exponential growth towards the competitive landscape that you're curating, right? Because as a game, I have seen, like, you have to focus on two things. First is the innovation, like you have to keep the gamers engaged in terms of bringing new things, and there is a next segment where you have to curate the competitive culture, right? Making sure that there are enough competitions happening, right? So curating both the things for a game is very much difficult, right? So there is a need of a platform like Turf where once they are fully integrated with a system that we call as Turf Engine, now anyone, like even an individual having a community or even an influencer, can curate an event or host an event within few clicks. That's the power that we want to give with Turf.
It's huge. One, it's huge for the games that embrace it, right? Because you know it'll happen,
Mhm.
right? Just like in everything else, the incumbents usually, if they're not forward thinking, they try to build walls and keep people in their own silo, right? And that's very short
Mhm.
sighted, right? Because eventually people are going to leave and not come back. But
Mhm.
the smaller games that embrace this ability, or even if they don't need to. The communities that embrace small games will have huge opportunities, and then this can be, for example, a this is like what you just said, a not just community
Mhm.
building opportunity, but a revenue stream for creators
Yeah.
who are doing this for a living. If I'm a gamer that likes to do game walkthroughs or play games and have people watch me stream, I host my own competition in my with my own
Mhm.
rules, the way I want to do it with my community, and I can maybe even grow my community through this. But even more importantly,
Mm.
I can monetize my community.
Mhm.
And I think that
Yeah.
what'll happen once this is here, I hope, or things sometimes happen in ways you never expect, which is even the more fun part. But I bet that a lot of games will start going to influencers, and instead of going, "Hey, influencer, why don't you come to our competition or promote our competition?
Mhm.
I'll give you $100, you make a post, or $1,000, you make a post, or you do a stream talking
Uh-huh.
about it, whatever." Right? Instead of having that transactional
Exactly.
kind of simple, kind of dumb agreement between them, you can have
Mhm.
I can go, "Hey, David Rankin, we're this game. You're a person. You want to host your own competition for our game.
It totally makes
You'll
sense.
Instead of me giving you
Yeah.
$1,000 to talk about it once, you're gonna own the competition, or we do a rev share or whatever. And now you're incentivizing them to
Exactly.
really promote it, really own it, really, do something
Mhm.
special. And it can be an
Exactly.
annual thing, it could be a monthly thing, it could be a quarterly thing, or whatever. And you're creating uh more business opportunities for these
You know, I,
communities.
I don't know if I've thought about that about
Exactly.
like what do you call it? Influencers owning their own game servers, right? I mean,
Mhm.
Exactly.
imagine if you did your concerts on your game servers and you're like, hey, come to our game server. By the way, I do a concert once a month. I'm like,
Whatever, that's the thing that's interesting, is that, you know like, they're gonna power. So, okay, but
yeah,
I'm gonna try
sure.
to
What about the
not get.
turf?
I don't want to talk too much, but I'm getting excited, obviously.
Well,
And
I want Turf to talk more about like how do people use Turf? Where's Turf at? How do they get involved with you guys to get you guys to host their games?
Sure. So, yeah, Adi, you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. So we have a platform live actually, which is all you have to do is go to www.zeroxturf.gg, and we have got a new domain as well right now. And all thanks to Alan, we kind of got it from an auction, and so we'll be soon be migrating ourselves to our official domain turf.gg. So coming to the part how exactly you can use Turf is, you can go to our website. There is login with your Turf account where you have to create your Turf account. It's a very simple few clicks process. That's how exactly you create your Turf account. And with that Turf account, it's actually an on-chain ID, an SSI, single sign-on process that I provide, and a decentralized identity that I provide to each individual person that is logging into our account, so that you have your own identity on-chain. So once you are logged in, there are various different, you are a gamer, definitely you can go and explore different communities, the esports communities, orgs over there. There is, you can create your own portfolio as soon as you create an account, and portfolio, a gamer's portfolio, minimal version of it gets created. Then you can improvise it, attach different games that you play in day-to-day life, boost your gamer's portfolio, and that you can brag on social media or to your friends actually, that yeah, these are my achievements on these games. And that's really cool and awesome, right? Because as a gamer, I do want recognition. uh, if you are an influencer, or if you, let's say, definitely you are doing this stuff so that you get an recognition online, right? uh, so as such, I feel that every gamer needs that recognition, which is missing right now. And blockchain plays a very crucial role over here because of the decentralization. It removes all the barriers across the world, everybody can join. So that's where I feel blockchain has played a very crucial role over here. That's why we are built on top of chain,
So, and
and
then
we are chain agnostic.
I was just going to say, so people can start and then go back. The chain agnostic is interesting too. We're going to get, but for now, people can start by going to, I should bring it back up, 0xturf.gg. And then
Yeah.
the new domain will come soon, and then they can go claim their decentralized ID.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
We call it a turf ID, and they can claim it. And as soon as they claim, they have to, there is a small signing process of few steps, and as soon as they follow those steps, they get their own portfolio created on our platform, which is really cool portfolio actually. uh, and they can, on our platform there are few gaming communities, there are few esports competition that we did. People can explore about it, and there will be few esports competitions that coming up as well. As long we are doing some partnerships with the games as such, a lot of esports competitions will be coming up. So
yeah,
it's a platform.
one of the things that was great, and I just wanted to throw this out there because we started this by saying that DGB has made an investment in Turf, and we're really excited to be working together. One of the things, Milton, I'm going to put it back up right now. It's 0xturf.gg. Here, I'll put it back here for a bit. One of the things that was really cool when we started talking to each other again, like I said, I've known these guys for a couple of years. They're building in the Tezos community, they're building on chain, and I got to meet them over the years and talk about all sorts of concepts and ideas. Yeah, Milton, that's it. And so, when you guys came back to me, started talking about this stuff, you guys did a test run and you guys did a competition. I think that had 2,000 players in your test competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we had a pool size limit, and we were oversubscribed actually with our first competition itself.
Cool.
So, but the game that we were trying to host competition, we were actually oversubscribed because we wanted to go with a limit and test out our platform. So 2,000 players, they joined in, 500 teams were there. So it was an amazing, all the process went
So
on
cool.
smoothly, and the entire competition that took place is up and live on YouTube actually, so people can definitely watch it as well.
All right,
That's so cool. As we get pitched
later, I want to see that in a tweet later.
Yeah, let's we'll
tweet.
that.
So tag this post later on with that tweet so people can go watch that competition.
Definitely.
So many crypto concepts and ideas come to us, and so many are awesome, right? Like, and and a bazillion incredible ideas. Then we get to meet tons of incredible founders, right? That want to launch these ideas, right? There's a huge, it's like a funnel, right? Tons of ideas, a few less founders, and then when you go down, there's even fewer founders who actually execute the ideas, right? And in crypto, there's a lot of companies that don't. I was going to go business model, but business model is even secondary. Don't actually get a product to a consumer, right? Like, so the idea, the idea that your test run had 2,000 individual players on it was, to me, really exciting. But there was a reason why we stayed in touch all this time and all that. So going into it, so you get you mentioned being chain agnostic. You should mention the ETH competition you guys won also, because that was a really cool little product you guys incubated at the hackathon.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was totally our team itself. Just like I mentioned, we had a payment infrastructure, right? And for all the esports events that will be happening, so we don't want to restrict any host to be chain specific. Let's say have this asset in this chain to be able to host, right, and distribute your rewards. And at the same time, we don't want any users. Let's say if they are crypto native also, we don't want multiple hops for them to use a bridge and then claim their rewards to their wallets and get it, let's say, off ramp, right? So that thing actually fueled like, hey, why don't we create a solution, a small solution that takes care of all the things around chain hopping and actually doing the bridge thing and get your money into your bank account, or let's say off ramp your money to the system that you need, right? So what we did is we made a system where if I'm a host, I want to host a competition of let's say $10,000, and I want to host it in, let's say, Polygon. Like I have my USDT in Polygon, so I can literally kickstart the whole process in Polygon itself. And if I'm the end user who is receiving the rewards, right, and I'm claiming it in, let's say, Ethereum, or let's say uh, even in Avalanche and any other chains, this whole process is formulated in a way that they will not even know that there is a chain difference that happened when the host is putting in money and how exactly they're getting it. So that's the basic solution, and the name was Habibi Cross. Actually, we won it in ETH Dubai, and we. I don't know where the name comes from. One of our teammates like, "Hey, this is a cross-chain activity,
Well,
and we are in Dubai."
Habibi in Arabic is like friend, right? It's like
Yeah.
hey Habibi, my friend. It's like, so it makes sense. That's pretty funny. It's a huge problem, and especially when what you mentioned earlier, right? Like when we say this also, um, you know, you think about, oh crap, clicking on MetaMask 18,000 times, doing a transfer between this place and that place. Adi wants to send me USDC, but I need USDC right now on Polygon because I want to do some drop there, or because that's where my main wallet is, or Base. Maybe I'm spending more time on Base now. What a pain in the butt. Adi has his on Arbitrum, and I, only use Arbitrum for Dolomite. I don't need that there right now. And so, this is what happens in the crypto space, but like, it shouldn't be normal, right? It's like saying I need a whole different process if I bank at Wells Fargo and you bank at Chase or Bank of America or something, right? Like I want to click one thing and receive it. And with Turf, you guys also made it like you don't need to have a MetaMask to sign up for Turf. You don't need to have a wallet and all that stuff. You guys will that's kind of obfuscated for the general user.
Question
right?
with that: if somebody's hosting a game competition and let's say they started on Polygon, can the players of that game competition come from other blockchains, or do they need to have stuff on Polygon in order to participate in the competition?
So let's say if I'm participating in a competition, right? Let's say that is getting hosted in Polygon as of the contracts are getting executed in Polygon, right? So whenever I'm getting in, right, at that moment itself, you'll not be actually facing this whole scenario because the participation comes from the identity protocol that we have curated, right? That's the reason we went with an DID protocol and issuing everyone turf IDs, right? So the verification is done on chain, but it's in the DID protocol, and that is totally chain agnostic. Once it comes to the conclusion in terms of, let's say, hey, the competition has ended and there is a separate smart contract which stores every single value, like, hey, this guy is the first, second, third, and they can claim this amount. Now that contract withdrawal is chain agnostic, right?
So
That's
I,
exactly where it's
as the competition creator, let's say I got sponsors, let's say I paid for it myself, whatever it is, let's say there's a $1,000 competition. And maybe even it's not dollars, maybe it's 1,000 ape coin competition or 1,000 Tezos. I don't know what it is, right? Let's say whatever the reward is for the winning players or the winning teams, the withdrawal process is what's chain agnostic. So I can
Exactly.
I can put my ETH as the prize, but
Yeah.
David can withdraw it to Base. Adi can withdraw it to Arbitrum, and Dibyo can withdraw it directly to Ethereum, right?
So you guys are if
Exactly.
it's a tether reward, you guys are going to like route it to whatever blockchain that they are on, essentially.
Exactly.
That is awesome.
And
That
it's
is awesome.
and it's a router like that's not like a normal bridge where you click multiple times and have to switch your wallet from one chain to another and do all of that stuff, which is the biggest pain in the process, right? Because there are some products that do that right now. Like, I wanted to buy something. I wanted to buy the Racino drop. Actually, something I wanted to mention at the beginning, just because it's gaming related and it's one of our companies.
Is it
One
still
of our
available?
companies, Racino. No, they sold out of it. They did a drop on Magic Eden. It was on Polygon. I don't use Polygon that often. I generally use, Ethereum or Arbitrum or whatever, but I use Polygon sometimes. I have a bunch of NFTs there, but I didn't have a bunch of Polygon tokens on Polygon. So I had to go to the bridge, send over some ETH, swap it, do the whole thing, right? And that bridge process makes you go into both sides of the transaction and verify some things, sign some transactions, all that. The product that you guys built was a simple way to initiate the transaction one time and for it to show up on the chain of your choosing. That's the important part, right? Because like what Chad said before, removing the friction from the process paves the way for broader mainstream adoption. We need to think about these things, right? Like most of our friends and people we're gaming with shouldn't have to connect MetaMask, even if they use it just to participate and play a game, right? It's a security issue. It's also confusing and weird. Like, what other products do we participate in the world where they say, hey, to do this, you have to also have a third party other thing to do this, right?
We're in this space so much that we forget on how difficult it is for new people to come in, right? I co-host a local crypto group, and I decided I was going to show on everybody on how to use a hardware wallet in conjunction with your Rabby or your MetaMask. I went there, I installed MetaMask, I got everything ready. I pulled out a brand new ledger, went to plug it in, and I had to have Ledger Live, and a Ledger Live wouldn't download to the current OS, Mac OS version I had. And I'm like, I can't go any farther. It was like trying to show how this was a bunch of newbies, and all of a sudden I couldn't do it. I'm like, well, I'll show you how to do a transaction on MetaMask instead, because I can't connect the hardware wallet because I don't have the Ethereum installed onto the ledger, and I guess I should have used the treasury. We forget how like there is a level of complexity to this, and it is that ability to eventually onboard the masses and making it simple.
Will you guys have like magic wallet features or other features to create, maybe it's not decentralized, but that doesn't matter for a lot of people. You're going to make it for people who don't have a crypto wallet that potentially win a tournament and need to receive some tokens. Are you guys going to integrate some of those features in so that if you want to be if you don't want to be
Alon,
MetaMask hardware wallet type of user.
Yeah, these guys used to be in the Tezos. So Tezos has that ability to use your Twitter account to have a wallet associated to it.
Well, that's not even that's what's funny, David, you associate that with what's funny is you associate that with Tezos because Tezos is probably the chain where that's the most adopted, but that's actually just a wallet feature. That was a forked wallet actually from Ethereum that was modified and worked for Tezos. But Tezos is pretty much the only community that did that well. So
think of this. Tether is over on Tezos. So think if I can sign into
you don't need Tether on Tezos. We got USD Tez.
Well, no, but that's true. But think if I sign up for Turf, with my Twitter account that's associated with the Tezos wallet, and now I can earn and win and have it sent to Tezos, the Tether, in the competition, and now I can switch it over to the USDT Tez.
Well, there's also going to be EtherLink now, which is the EVM that resolves to Tezos that. I'm going to learn a lot more about with Kevin. He's going to teach me, and we're going to learn together on that. But that's the whole thing. There's going to be 18 million connections. So, but the thing is, the average person, not the average person.
It's about removing barriers to entry. It's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Right?
So we actually had we went to a couple of clubs actually, an offline club over here. They were eSports clubs actually, and we talked to the gamers over there, and we asked them why exactly these are some of the really cool Web3 games. Why exactly you guys are not bullish on it, or you guys are not playing? So they said like we tried few of them out, but the process was so complicated. Like you have to do this, you have to do that, save the seed phase and all. The only thing that excites them about Web3 is Bitcoin. That's all. They say that this entire process is like a barrier because of which we do not go through. They do not want to go through that entire hassle, because on Web2 also that entire same kind of genre of the game is already present. Why shouldn't they play that?
So hey, I'm going to give a little shout out right now. Actually, so one of the less talked about crypto games that exist, because they're not they didn't do some kind of ICO and play some kind of game. I'll give a shout out to my friend Amy Wan. So Amy did a company called Bling Financial, and she called it Bling Financial in the end. But they did a hackathon with their own internal team. They started by doing a smart contract based dispute resolution thing years ago. It was way too early for something like this. And they did their own internal hackathon, and they said, let's try building this game. And what they did was they built a game that was kind of like Candy Crush or Bubble Bobble, really, really simple game that gave you Bitcoin rewards. And that game is called Bitcoin Blast, I think. And they now have a few other games, but they have millions and millions of users, right, using these games. And they basically, as far as I understand the business model, they basically do a rev share of the ad revenue they get from people watching ads and playing the game, and give a portion of it as rewards to players of the game in Bitcoin, right? And it's one of the most successful probably crypto games that are out there, but nobody talks about it because there wasn't, some big, token drop. There isn't the speculation. It's just people playing a fun game, like a casual game that they love playing. They earn Bitcoin, right? So I think that what'll be great with the communities that you're talking about, right? Any game competition runner can say, play the game and earn dollars, play the game, earn Bitcoin. But the whole point is they play their game. They're not playing some, again, game that's forced to have some token economic model. That there's good reason to have those models in some games, but people are putting the cart before the horse. They're not creating the best fun game that millions of people want to play. They're going, you want to print money, you want free money that falls from the sky, play this game. And then after about 15 minutes, you're like, okay, I'm done playing the game. It's not fun anymore. right?
Exactly.
Well, so Alon, I think this is a good point to bring up. If you are a game creator and you want to work with DGB or work with Turf and get your game out there in competitions, come talk to us. Go to the dgb.vc website and submit through the form, and come talk to us and pitch us your game. We would love to work with you.
100%. You know what? I forgot to say it right off the
In case
bat
that wasn't
too.
still already.
No, we need to. You know, we didn't do it off the bat because I got excited and we want to talk about it. But yeah, if anybody does want to go to dgb.vc, if you want to watch these live streams, follow us everywhere. Contact us on the DGB website, and you'll get into our mailing list also, and so you hear about these things. But we invest at companies at the earliest stage of the game. So if you're, two people with an idea, you're just testing it out, whatever, come to us. That's the time. And I would love to potentially incubate some casual games,
guess what?
Game studio that was focused on tournament style games that we could, launch on Turf.
And those who were on the mailing list also heard about the Racino drop.
They did. They heard about the Racino drop, which is fun. I hope we can get Racino to do some tournaments sooner rather than later. But I think that there's a huge world for this, obviously. But I think Adi, you were about to say something, and then
and then I blooded it. Sorry.
So, Alan, like you raised a very fair point. Actually, this has been a problem. It has been a problem since very long. Play to earn mechanisms only have gained yield farmers to different games actually, and because this wallet barrier and the token strategy, dumping the token gets dumped and all. So actually the real gamers, these games, they never get adopted by the real gamers. And behind the scene, some games, a lot of Web3 games, they kind of brag that they are like, this is a controversial statement, but I would like to say that they brag about millions of players. They are just yield farmers. They come, farm the tokens, and then they go away. That's it. If I'm a game enthusiast and if I'm building a platform, it takes a lot of perseverance in order to build that particular platform. So wouldn't I want, if I'm in the long-term journey, definitely I would love to have real gamers on board. If I take it out to a million crowd, real gamers crowd, definitely it will. One of the sure shot is that it will get adopted by a few thousands actually. But those few thousands will be the real gamers actually playing your game, and then those fewer gamers will convert your games into few more thousand of the gamers. So this is the entire process that goes on, and that's where esports is a necessity of right now for the entire Web3 gaming ecosystem. With that's why we came up with the entire DID as a side process of verifying the gamers, their abilities, and then allowing them to join the different tournaments. Because these tournaments, actually, the people who play these tournaments will be the real gamers. Actually, they will have their skill set, and that's what they'll be deploying it to earn out of it.
Right? What prevents bots? What prevents bots from signing up and having IDs and playing with bots?
Even if the bots sign up, they won't be able to participate in the competition, right? So that's a real game over here. So if you are a real gamer, then only you can participate in that particular competition.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you still have to participate in the game, right? Like, so.
For me, like, that was the only thing that, like, so I was in a game on the blockchain in Web3, right? And I was participating in this, and it was racing various things, and without giving away too much what I was playing. And what was fascinating is you actually made revenue by renting out your various items in the game. And what was amazing is they turned off bot participation, and as soon as they did that, like, all activity pretty much dropped off.
Yeah.
So we need real users, right? If everything is running by bots, then it kind of is no longer fun anymore.
That's one of the crazy things, that even if you even when they removed the bots, actually they were not discoverable by the real gamers out there. The
Yeah.
discovery happens because there are esports club, and it's amazing. Like every colleges, every small clubs are there. We don't know about it, and it's happening. These small esports clubs are engaging real gamers, and that's what we are bringing to our platform, and we are bridging them together, the games and the esports orgs, so that real gamers, all the games get discovery through these esports orgs to different gamers out there, whether it's college kids out there, or any kind of games
Yeah,
or gamers out
Right. And
and that
adding on to that, it's one thing that Aditya mentioned, right? We are creating the distribution, bringing the esports orgs, right? So one of a very old company is there in the industry who has created a distribution network of 50,000 communities all across the world, right? Imagine the amount of gamers these 50,000 communities will be having. So we at Turf, keeping aside the infrastructural front that we are bringing, right? We want to create the in-house distribution network, which we'll be providing it to the games so that they can have the real gamers inbound through us, right? That's till date nowhere it's possible, because even if people are creating distribution networks, they are creating it for marketing purposes,
yeah,
right? Let's say, hey, if you want to shoot this kind of thing, a new post or something, you can actually distribute it to this particular esport org, and they will shill it, right? We are leveraging those kind of esports organizations and the real capability of the gamers to bridge it to the games that we are onboarding, right? So, as such, we are partnered with 10 plus esports orgs as of now, accumulating 380K plus gamers reach for the Toast platform, and that we can provide to the new games that we are onboarding. So that's one thing I would like to add on, and this is one of the crucial parts of uh, Turf, basically, right? Having the engagement layer and having the ability to bring gamers, and that's real gamers. So that's one of the things that I would like to mention.
So
yeah. I
another
think
thing,
every spoke kind of the process. Games can reach can reach gamers through this. Gamers can find tournaments and maybe discover new games. And the
Uh,
gaming communities, the people who host competitions anyway on their own, can have a platform to do this in a more fair way, which then creates all sorts of distribution. Each step could do it alone or with each other.
mhm.
it's a tough triangle of trust.
That's right. That's right.
So, and not only this, Alan, like even if you are not a professional gamer, definitely you can be a casual gamer, and you are interested in participating in one such competitions, and or you are a viewer. Definitely, there should be a platform that can engage them as well, because ultimately, even if they are not professionals or even if they are newbies, they are gamers actually, right? And they are starting up. So we thought about it, like how cool it would be that we can engage them as well in the process. So we came up with an idea that is predictor, where a casual gamer can predict while the tournament is going on who can win the tournament, or different. An influencer can or organizer of the tournament can put out some questions around the games, or they can put out questions around who will win the tournaments, and they can bet on it.
Well,
So this
that
is
brings
one of the amazing things.
that brings up a
Yes.
great topic. What about matched competitions? Right. One of the biggest things is having a competition with people who you're matched up with. Like in chess, a lot of times you'll have a match, and you'll only play people who are in your category or your level of ranking, right? Like if I'm going to go
Mhm.
play a match, don't necessarily want to go play the top 1% player in a competition right away, right? Like I want to play in a lower match
Yeah.
with some other people and build my way up to my ranking, to a higher ranking, right? And it would be nice to be able to have a
Uh,
competition with people in my range, just so that way I feel like I have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is one of the crucial thing I would say, right? The matchmaking till date is in game, right? It's game specific because most of the data regarding someone's achievement is owned by the game, right? So moving forward, right, if we can create a separate ecosystem or a data layer, right, that's one of the things why Turf ID was designed, right, where we can give a proof of achievements as a verified credentials to the gamers, and those credentials can be used for bringing more value or segregating them from the other gamers, just like you mentioned, David. Like we can literally create a matchmaking engine on top of it, where if you are a gamer of a certain proficiency, you can literally be matched with people who are in the same proficiency level and not with the top tier guys.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. So, but going back to what Adi was just saying, that I think is a really really cool thing, right? Is the cat? There's some people who play the games, the tournaments. This is a category that's like what I was talking about at the beginning. Is yeah, I want to play maybe with my son, join a tournament or join a tournament, even if I'm not a pro, and that's pretty fun and cool too. But then there are tournaments that are higher level, or maybe I get kicked out. And for every person in the tournament, there could be 10 people, 100 people, a million people who are watching the tournament or keeping tabs on it. And what Adi was talking about is a sort of a prediction market to make bets
Yeah.
and you know you know play some gaming style games on the side on top of what's happening live. And I think that's really exciting too. That's like something that could be unlocked along the way that adds a bunch of value to even to the smaller tournaments, because if a smaller tournament has some big gamer playing, then people might come in to watch and see and be able to wager on it, or to make their predictions, or just to watch and have some fun, like we do in professional sports, right, or college sports, which is I think we need to. I think people need to align themselves more, even if the older crowd doesn't get it. Like games and esports are to us, and especially to our kids and people who are younger, just as exciting to watch as sports, right?
Yeah, like it's happening actually. Like
Yeah.
I feel, David, you were mentioning about the League of Legend competitions, and literal people are looking around it, and this is a serious metrics that the gamers count and the viewers count is like there is a 3x gap between that, right? If we figure out a way to actually engage those viewers and bring them to our platform, right, there is a huge level of monetization that we can enable, and that eventually powers up the players as well as the platform as a whole, right? In terms of, let's say, prize pool, increment, and all these things.
I don't know about Alon, but it's pretty bad at my house. I tell my kids, get off the Roblox, and they get off the Roblox and they go on the TV and they go to YouTube and they watch YouTube playing
Yep.
Roblox or Minecraft. It's like, come on, guys.
That's what my kids,
same thing.
Well, what's really funny is at one point I made some statement that I was like, I'd rather you be playing a video game than just watching TV, like just like bleh, like staring at the screen, right? And now every time we go, just watch something on TV, and they go, "You said once that playing games is better for your brain than just watching TV," and like they're starting to use it against me. It's pretty funny,
Yeah.
but that's exactly it. Like even the content. What's funny is, because you mentioned Roblox again, even the content of YouTube channels that aren't about playing the game, they'll be recording their screen while like walking through the game and using that as the animation that they've decided to do, right? Like they live in that world. And I think that's where, kids are going to graduate from this, from the Roblox and Fortnite closed communities to these open communities where they can trade assets and things and do things more freely. But I think also as that culture evolves, the competitions and the gaming and the places where they hang out around those things are going to shift. And
Well,
it's
now
not
my
just going to
kids,
be watching some YouTuber play a game, but they'll be able to watch them play the game, check their stats live on turf, and maybe predict that that this person's going to win or that person's going to win, or or you can get like fantasy football, not fantasy football, well, fantasy football too, but like in Vegas where they do bets like live in like cafe, in like bars and stuff, where it's like they're going to score a touchdown right now on this play, and you can like make instant bets and all sorts of crazy things that I think, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be bets for money. I think that's where it probably will go, but even just for their own bragging rights, right? Like I called it, right? That's enough to make people want to participate and call it in advance so that they can point at their profile and be like, I said Adi was going to win 2 weeks ago and nobody believed me, So guys, I know we're over time now. Is there anything we want to hit before we go? We said go sign up and grab your decentralized ID or your turf ID at 0xturf.gg. We'll be making announcements. We're going to announce the investment later today too, and an updated domain name for turf later. But go claim your name in the meantime. Join the turf Discord, right? Because you need to go there to get some codes to use the platform too, right?
Exactly. Yeah, Discord is our community home, and that's where we talk about the things that we are trying to do, and that's where our community engage. And yeah, go home to Discord, and we can we have been there. Like I'm available. Aditya is there. The whole turf team is there who can actually guide you with anything that is needed. Even if you're a game who wants to get to know like how exactly they can integrate turf, they can literally come up and initiate a ticket to discuss things further.
Awesome. And there's going to be a ton of updates over time, so we'll keep everyone updated. And make sure to follow Adi and Dibyo on the tweet and on all of the, if you're watching on LinkedIn or on Twitter or on YouTube, you can follow all of them. Their links are in the tweet and everything.
Well, what we should do is we should also put up their Twitter channel.
Yeah, it's that's a good idea. It was what was the Twitter account again? It was turfgg_.
Yeah.
Yes.
Underscore. No, it's turf. Yeah, turf. Yep. That's it.
Here, I'll put it add banner. There we go. So turfgg_. So but yeah, follow us. Oh yeah. David put it right into the YouTube. That's perfect. So follow these guys. I'm gonna tweet. I'm gonna share some video later today about my feelings on this too, separate from this. We're gonna make the announcements and all that fun stuff, but that's just the beginning. There's so many exciting things. So guys, I'm so stoked to be working together. It's been a long time coming, and the whole team is pumped and can't wait to play some games together.
Yeah, definitely, Alan. We are pretty much excited to have you aboard with us and to launch this product as well.
Heck yeah, guys.
And there'll be lots and lots of announcements for our viewers actually coming up in the next few days. So please come to our Twitter, join us. There'll be lots and lots of announcements, pretty much exciting announcements coming up.
Heck yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week and online. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everyone.